Hello everyone. You go through the newspaper these days. Almost every day there comes around one to two articles on Iran-Palestine issue. Now, in this video, I'm not going to go back to the history where it started. What are the different stages of evolution of it? I'll simply come on the point that why suddenly Hamas started striking Israel through its missiles. I'll also set a stage for the geopolitics, that how the geopolitics govern the regional stability or regional instability, I would say. So first of all, just in a crux, I would say that there is a conflict going on between Israel and Palestine. Palestine, they are the part of the Gaza Strip. Now, historically, Gaza Strip or the Palestinian people, they have got support from Saudi Arabia and Iran. Now, there were certain geopolitical changes which happened, which has led to this conflict between Israel and Palestine. What was that geopolitical changes? Let's find out. Now, let's go back 2 to 3 years before. Let's go back 2 to 3 years before when USA and the Trump administration had left Afghanistan. And US soldiers had left Afghanistan. Now, when the US was present in the Middle East in Afghanistan, USA considered the complete region as its sphere of influence. Now, the moment it left, there created a vacuum. This vacuum was being filled by China. China, through its Belt Road Initiative, had expanded its influence in the region. Now, it was against the interest, obviously, it was contrary to the interest of USA. Now, why it was so? Again, let's understand. The moment US left from Afghanistan, it was on the view that it wanted to shift its focus from Afghanistan to China and Russia. It wanted to contain China and Russia in the region, and that's why you also see the expansion of NATO. Expansion of NATO, then Russia-Ukraine conflict was also a product of that. Now, what US actually missed that the moment it created a vacuum, China had started extending its influence in the region. Now, for this to again refill the vacuum, it used to do certain conferences like I2, U2 initiatives and all. Anyways, but those were not enough. Now, why I said that China had increased its influence, it is also from the fact that recently Iran, Saudi Arabia all have mediated through Chinese influence. China has mediated between these countries, and even China has included these countries in Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is seen as an organization of Chinese influence. Now, uh, here to compensate with what BRI was doing to counter that, recent initiative of IME corridor, that is the India, Middle East, and European Union corridor, was was seen as an influence of USA. USA wanted to mediate between Saudi Arabia and Israel for the successful completion of IME corridor, which was seen as a counter to the BRI initiative. Now, for this successful completion of IME corridor, we find that there has to be peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia. Why? Because this corridor passes from both these countries, and historically there has been not so good ties between both these countries. So, USA had mediated between these countries and brought all these countries on the same table for this project. Now, we also initially we talked about it that the Palestinians were supported by Israel. Sorry, Palestinians were supported by Saudi Arabia, and Palestinians had conflict with Israel. So when Palestinians saw that the ties between Saudi Arabia and Israel is increasing, it is contrary to their own interest, because after all they are losing their cause, they are losing their own interest. They find that now the Saudi Arabia is sidelining with Israel, and in fact, the recent statements by Saudi Arabia also shows that the Saudi Arabia is now focusing more on economic prosperity than on regional issues or regional stability and instability. Now, this was not liked by Palestinians. They wanted to destabilize anyhow the IMT corridor, and the moment Israel is destabilized, it cannot lead to the successful completion of IMT project. It was also against the US influence in the region, which has tried which had tried to maintain the ties. Anyway, so indirectly uh, it is in the interest of Russia and in the interest of China, because now the Chinese VRI is not going to face any competition, and it also finds that the US influence in the region is also decreasing. Now, second thing is why Palestinians chose this point of time to attack. One reason I already told about the IME corridor. Second reason, to answer the second reason behind it, let's go into the domestic politics of Israel. In Israel, right now, Benjamin Netanyahu, who is ruling right now Israel, he comes from the right wing politics. His inclination towards the right wing politics and conservatism can also be seen from the steps like he's trying to reduce the power of judiciary, is going to make the judiciary completely subordinate to it. Why? Because judiciary was taking certain steps which was very liberal in nature. For example, giving rights to LGBTQ community, which was against the conservative nature of the right wing politics. So it seeked so recent steps chose to curtail the powers of judiciary. Then it was not liked by the people of Israel, and many people who were also part of the Israeli army, they were protesting against it. So this was again a right time or a perfect time for Palestinians, because they knew that internally Israel was already destabilized. Internally, many of the soldiers are on protest against the curtailing of powers of judiciary. So using this as an opportunity, also Palestinians chose this point of time to attack Israel. So all these issues are completely, geopolitics is influencing the regional stability in the region. It is leading to regional conflicts. And second thing we learn from this complete conflict is that uh, unlike earlier where USA was using these countries as a pawn, now these countries cannot act as the subordinate to USA. They are acting as their own. They are acting as the independent nations. They are adopting the independent foreign policy like India has also adopted. So right now we find that in this multipolar world, the power has shifted from one to two centers to the multiple centers in the world. Especially we are talking about the Middle East, which is the oil-rich country which dominates in oil production. I think uh, this region cannot be dominated by either USA or China. It is all about the self-interest or the national interest, on the basis of which they adopt the strategic non-alignment or strategic multi-alignment on the basis of their own national interest. So I think national interest should be combined to the global interest for the maintenance of the peace, and this can be the future solutions of this complete issue. That's all, friends.